Hello everybody. Today I would like to talk about Java Enums for our Java Reflection series. Okay, for that I've created this class day with 7 constants. These ones which represent, of course, the days of the week from Sunday to Saturday, and I added a little bit of complexity so we can extract more value from this video. And I forced to create a constructor with 2 parameters. One it's a display name, just a string, and if the day is a weekday or not, meaning if the day it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. Okay, and of course I've created the fields to save or store the display name and the weekday, the gets for which one of them, and the kind of a toString on the day just to display the the day of the week, sure, in this case. Okay, so we can understand or can review what is a Java Enum. Java Enum is a kind of a class with some restrictions, and when we are using this class, we don't use the new operator. We just use these names, and when we use these names internally, Java already created an instance of this class, call it this constructor with these values, meaning that it will call this constructor here. Okay, so all of these methods and all these fields, they are always associated with which one of these constants. That's what Java Enum is. Okay, now let's see some examples or reflect, let's say, on this code. Let's start with the Enum constants. The Enum constants are these ones here. Okay, these names. Okay, so I'm calling this method, and we have again we extract the enum. The enum it's the day, and we extract like this dot class because the enum it's behind the scenes a class in Java. And now to get the days, these names here, we just call the get enum constants. It's a method very specific for enums in Java, but we are using the class, let's say the common class when we are doing reflection, but for enums we use the get enum constant. It's a method very specific just for enums, and it will return an array of the days, meaning that we will have an array with these values there. Okay, and then we can do two things with this enum class. One is to ask if this class is in enum or not, because as I said, it's a class, but it's a specific class with a specific behavior. So we can ask when we have a class if it's an enum or a regular class. And if it's enum, it will say, okay, it's an enum. Okay, and then I'm displaying just the contents of this array. Okay, let's see what happens. Just run. Okay, and we can see that the day it's an enum like we were expecting here. It's an enum, and the array contains these values. It's the name of our constants, and it's the name that Java returns when we are doing a toString, a common toString on the contents of this array. Okay, these are methods that are very specific for enums. Now let's see what happens when we start to extract the methods. It should be very similar to a class because at the end of the day it's a class. Okay, but let's see if there are any difference or not. Just let's run this. Okay, and we can see what I'm doing here is just getting the class of the day, get declared methods. If you saw my previous video about methods using Java Reflection, the declared methods returns the methods that are declared in the class. Okay, you have optionally another method without the declared that gets all the methods that are visible, but not the private ones, for instance. But if you are in an hierarchy, it means that even the methods from your parent class will be collected by the method. That's the difference between the get declared methods or get methods. In our case, I'm always targeting the declared methods because we are trying to understand how this class, this defined class, works. And in our case, It's the enum. Now for each method, okay, I'm just getting the name of the method, and I'm introducing this. I think I didn't do it on my previous videos, at least on the basic ones, to get the modifiers. Usually this get modifier just returns an integer, but if you use this utility class toString from the modifier, and you can see the modifier here on Java Reflect, it will return you the names. And you can see here public static. Every modifier belonging to a method will be returned by this toString here. Let's see what is returning. There is a method called isWeekday, and we can see that we have these methods here. Get display name, isWeekday, and the print. Okay, that's the methods that we are expecting to see. So we have this weekday, the print, the get display name, but now we have other methods. Like we have an internal method called values. It's associated with enums. Okay, value of, it returns the values of the enumerator, the value of the value of an enumerator, and this one, it's the values. It's a kind of a syntactic, as said by the Java documentation, syntactic method associated with these constants here. So you can see that we declared is weekday print and get display, but Java at least generated this method when we are compiling, and these ones already belong to the enumerator. Okay, that's the methods that exist for the enumerator. Let's now see the fields. And for the fields, let's say this one again, I'm just calling the get declared fields here for a specific enum. Okay, and now I'm displaying the name of the field. Again, the modifiers of for the visibility. It's if it's a private, static, and so on. And I'm just printing the get type so you can understand better what happen and what kind of types the enumerator defines internally. Okay, let's run. And Java considers that the constants are fields and these are fields as well. Let's see. So Sunday with the visibility public static final, and this explains a lot since we can, but it's a field internally. It's public because we can access it even without the public. You can see that Enums has this kind of tricky little things. It's not, you don't have here the public modifier, but it's public. Right? You don't have the static, but it's static internal. The enumerator, when we develop an enum in Java, it will create internally a different class. It's not the common class as we usually know about with the specific rules. If you want something public, it's public. If you want private, it's private, and so on. The Java enumerator, even if you don't say nothing about the fields, they will be transformed when they are generated for the bytecode, meaning that's we don't need to write here public static final. It's implied on the by the fact that we are writing enum rather than class here. Okay, so it's a public static final, and that of course the data type of the field, it's the, let's say, class enum data type, which is day. And of course for all of them, then we have the display name, which is this one. We have weekday, and we have these values here. Okay, what are these values? Okay, values, I put here a comment. So to be clear, is a synthetic field that contains the enum constants, is an array, and it is used by values method that we saw here. There was a method when we executed these enum methods that was called values, and what this method will do is just to take this field, this generated field when the enum is being compiled, and display its contents. Okay, it's an internal field called private static final that exists on the enum. Okay, these are our fields, but another one is added by Java. Okay, so we can to support the methods that we saw before, like values, value of, and so on. Okay, that's again, I'm highlighting this because that's why I created this video, because sometimes we just think about the enumerator, just these fields, and it's a kind of a class. Okay, we know everything about enums, but when we try or start to reflect on the, or do a Java reflection on the enums, we can see that this kind of specific things, usually things that are generated, always start with this value here, okay, with the dollar. Okay, and now we just need to check the constructors. Okay, in our case, we have this constructor here. Again, you can see that we are not writing nothing here, like for instance, private, but it's private. Let's say if I do something like this, public, you can see even IntelliJ will say, okay, you cannot use public here. It's a very particular type of class, the Java enum. Okay, let's return here and let's run the constructors. Again, get the class from the day, get declared constructors, and then just print the name of the constructor and its visibility. And let's see what is the result. Just run. And for the constructor, it's just one constructor, and you can check here it's private. Okay, this is a constructor that you can see like this. It's the name of the constructor. Let's get name of the constructor. It is this one. Okay? It's the name of the class because the constructor, it's not a method. It's a kind of a special method that allocates memory. But and the implied return type, it's the name of the class. And sometimes the name of the constructor. Of course, it should be the name of the class because it doesn't have a name. It's the way to create the class. Okay, that's why it's called day. And the visibility is private even without explicitly saying that it's private. Java forces and say, sorry, but all constructors in the enum are private. Okay, I hope that it's clear now for you. If you didn't know about this stuff, Java enums, I hope it was really useful because I tried to show how to do Java reflection in enumerators, but at the same time, we start to understand how internally the enums are created, are developed, and managed by Java. Again, please, if you are like my videos, uh, be free to propose other kind of subjects. I will continue with these Java reflection videos. Subscribe my channel, and I will wait for you on my future videos.